How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So quick video here, while I'm still kind of dealing with being sick, although personally I feel almost 100% by now. I still kind of have a headache here and there, particularly like when I'm waking up. But aside from that, I feel all good. Granted, I'm still totally testing positive, so I'm still kind of like quarantined away from everybody else. But kind of like a good and bad thing is it's spreading through the house, which is a bad thing. So like our younger son tested positive as well, but at least now he gets to chill up here with me, so I'm not just kind of stuck away from everybody, right? So we've been chilling up here all weekend. But anyway, wanted to post a quick video so I don't have too long of a delay in between my posts, especially as I'm creeping closer to 1,000, which is really awesome. It's kind of coming quicker than I was anticipating, and really hope my logo gets finished before we hit that mark. But nonetheless, the logo is being worked on and it is coming soonish. So anyway, I wanted to post a video that I could do really quickly in basically like a pass or two before my son needs me. So for the topic, I thought I would talk about setting your intention to try and have more lucid dreams, right? So that makes me think of initially like the mild technique or the mnemonic lucid dreaming technique, right? Where basically it works around where as you're falling asleep, you repeat a phrase to yourself. Typically the phrases they recommend are kind of long, something like, next time I am dreaming, I will remember that I'm dreaming, or something along those lines, which definitely works. But for me, I like to keep it really short, and I like to do it in time with my breath. So like either like two really short phrases, or preferably like 2 words, and preferably like 2 syllables. So what I like to use is I am or I'm on the inhale, and then exhale. Lucid, you just keep repeating that, and basically as long as you can until you fully fall asleep and you lose your conscious awareness. And then that really works great at setting that intention or setting that thought in your head to try and have lucid dreams really deep. So hopefully later on in the middle of some random dream, that thought will again creep up, and you can go ahead, do your reality check, or really maybe just realize things are weird, notice that you're dreaming, and get lucid from that point on. Some of the problems with the mild technique though is that as you're repeating these phrases to yourself, it can kind of give you insomnia, because you're engaging your mind to say these phrases. It basically just keeps you too awake. Now with practice, this does get easier. Like for me, if I'm using the I am lucid thing, it works really great at least getting me to the hypnagogic state. Granted, I can kind of get to that state no problem really if I focus in on it anyway. But it can also work good at keeping you lucid through hypnopompia, because as you're repeating that phrase, if you can say it light enough, you don't even really got to focus on following the imagery. You just want to really focus on just kind of keeping that one step removal and realizing that, hey, I am here, I am lucid, I am witnessing this liminal dream. So that can work great there too. But really what I like to think of when it comes to setting your intention to try and have lucid dreams, I find it almost to be more important to do like just throughout the day, right? You want to soak your mind in this stuff so it's on your mind so much that it's just kind of cropping up naturally already throughout the day. And then that same natural process of it cropping up just organically in your mind throughout the day will tend to happen, when you're in the middle of a dream, and then you can try to go ahead and get lucid that way. So what are some good ways just to kind of set your intention to want to lucid dream throughout the day? Well, whatever you can do to have it be on your mind. So if you have people to talk about it, that can go a long way, but granted that takes 2 people, so that could be harder. Reading a book on it can work really well. Watching videos like my videos can work great for that. An audio book or something can work really good too. Podcasts and things like that can all work great there. Something else that works really great, although man, I haven't been doing it for at least the past year because I've been so deep into video games again. But like reading a book, like a lucid dreaming book directly before bed, can work wonders. I mean, just because you got to like decode these words, I think that helps it sink deeper into your head. Plus, as long as you're reading and really trying to comprehend what you're reading, that's going to obviously help it sink in deeper. Plus, I find reading directly before bed is a good way to kind of quiet your mind down and help you fall asleep easier. So that I think actually works the best. Now you could combine that after you read for whatever 20 minutes or something, put your book down. Then you can do some sort of mild affirmation thing as you're drifting off into sleep. That can work great too. Man, shucks, I can't remember if I said this. So doing the whole mild affirmation thing can keep you awake. I might have said this, but if not, I'm gonna say it again. So a good way to get around that and kind of get past the insomnia effects of it is just do it for a set amount of time. So it'd be like 5 or 10 minutes of you doing this whole repeat phrase things. And then after that's done, put it to the side and then just kind of fall asleep as you typically do to try to get past the whole insomnia thing. Can really work wonders there. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about all I had to say on it. Oh, I guess when it comes to wilds as well. So typically when you're doing the mild technique, especially if you do it as you're falling asleep, you're not going to have a wild or awake initiate or awake induced lucid dream. So if you really want to have those, you're going to have to go ahead and do that after wake back to bed, right? Because typically when we're falling asleep initially, you go from stage one, wide awake into stage 1, into stage 2, into deep sleep, into REM. But what you really want to do to have a wild is you basically have to go from wide awake into stage 1, or maybe not even wide awake, just basically stage 1 directly into REM, which happens normally after the first 2 cycles of sleep, or after about 3 hours of actually being asleep. Then typically if you fall asleep after that, you will go straight from, stage 1 directly into REM, and then you can actually have a crack at having a wild. Now there are some things you can do to get around that. Granted, these are all kind of bad things, but like if you're really sleep deprived, for example, then sometimes when you initially go to sleep, you do go from stage 1 directly into REM. So, if you really want to have a wild, you can kind of do stuff like that where just go ahead, sleep deprive yourself for a couple days or something like that. And then, when you're going to sleep on that 3rd day or whatever, then you can really go after that wild. And when having a wild, I find that doing things like this whole mnemonic mild approach can really work great for that. However, it's not my main approach. Now, if I am trying to have a wild, particularly after waking up, after some sort of wake back to bed deal, and this could be either actually, I find this works best for like my modified wake back to bed approach, where like the typical way is you stay awake, you go at least 3 hours of being asleep. So like say 4 hours after you're lying in bed initially, you wake up, stay awake for like 20 minutes or so, with the goal of having your mind wake up, but your body still be tired, so you can still fall asleep after staying awake for that 20 minutes. And at the same time, you could be setting intentions to lucid dream, right? You could be reading a lucid dreaming book or something like that. But then as you're going back to sleep, right, that's when you could repeat that whole thing. But for me, what I like to do is, for my modified approach, is I like to get up really momentarily. So like you set an alarm, keep it very close to you. That alarm goes off, you turn it off, you immediately lie down and you try to go straight back to sleep. But what I'll do, instead of doing a whole mild affirmation type deal, is I'll just go ahead and replaying the dream back into my head, mostly just for, just so I can remember it, so I can journal it later. But as I'm replaying the dream back in my head over and over again, picturing it, I like to go chronologically. At some point in that process, I'll fall asleep, and then hopefully you can just re-enter into the same dream. You can go ahead and get lucid that way and have a wild. But even if not, I find just simply playing back that dream into your head, even if you don't end up getting a wild, works great at just having you think about dreaming so much that, if not, it won't only greatly increase your dream recall, but I find it also seems to help me get lucid as well, just because I'm so tuned into trying to remember and recall my dreams, that when I'm in a dream, even if it's a completely different dream, maybe I didn't go from stage 1 directly into REM or something like that, right? But even because I'm sinking that so deep, thinking about my dreams, trying to remember it, it helps me realize my dream, improve my dream recall from the next dream, and then it can also therefore help me go ahead and realize that I'm dreaming while it's happening, get lucid, and whatever else. Anyway, kind of rambled on again a bit there, but nonetheless, that'll wrap it up. I think my son needs me. Peace.